ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि। भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। My namaskars to you all who are listening to this talk. We are here in fifth chapter of Panchamadhyaya of Bhagavad Gita. The Sannyasa Yoga, the name of the chapter, the name of the Adhyaya is Sannyasa Yoga. Before to this, the fourth chapter was Karma Sannyasa Yoga. The idea of renunciation, the yoga through renunciation. This is the theme of the chapter. And we saw earlier in the last class how Bhagavan has put forward this idea of what is real renunciation is like. He said this in third verse, that Yona dveshti na kankshati, that one who does not hate and neither desires, one who is beyond dualities, he is true sannyasi, nitya sannyasi, forever, and he alone, such a person alone, can be freed from this bondage easily. Sukham bandhat pramuchyate, not with pain. So, and he takes forward this idea that the idea of karma yoga, yoga and sankhya, the idea of knowledge, the yoga of knowledge, the way of knowledge and way of actions, they are not separate. The true knowers of this knowledge do not say so. Only the children, the spiritually immature people say so. And even if one has adhered to one of them properly, he can earn the fruits of both. Wherever the path of knowledge can take you at the same state of mind, at the same kind of fruits of enlightenment, can be brought by the path of action also. And he alone sees it truly. One who sees that there is no difference between these paths of knowledge or in action. Or of action. The path of action, that I mean. The person who is not who has not become adept in the yoga, ayogataha. In the yoga means in the path of action, who has not known its secret. For such a person to practice renunciation is very difficult. And the person, on the other hand, who has gone through this rigor of actions, he alone who has mastered the secret of this work, he only, such a person when become contemplative, he can attain to Brahman without fail, without delay. Yoga yukto munir brahma achirena adhigacchati. And such a person, through you might remember in this context, Swamiji in Karma Yoga he had said this, that the person who is inclined or motivated to attain spiritual goal, spiritual advancement, he rather abhors the action, karma, because it upsets him. It can break the peace of his mind, focus and concentration. And naturally they want to circumvent it, want to avoid the action, avoid the karma. But in Karma Yoga, Swamiji said that the way is through the midst of this, at the center of this wheel of this work wheel within wheel. This like a machine, it is going on. Ceaseless as it appears, that work results into its fruits, and fruits themselves being the action, being the cause, gives rise to another effect called fruits. So this goes on, a vicious circle. And how to break through it? So Swamiji says, the way to liberation is through the center of the wheel. Like in the eye of the storm, like in a whirlpool, if somebody is catched in its periphery, the only way to escape is through dive to its center and escape from it, where it becomes narrow. There it is possible for that person. Like what we have seen in our household, Sri Ramakrishna used to give example of this. In earlier household, to make flour from the wheat grains or other millets or any kind of flour, so there is to be this stone mill. In different languages they might have different name. Marathi, it is called as Zate. So there is a pivot, one wheel is fixed on the to the ground probably, and in its center it has a spike of mostly of the iron spike, and upon which a free wheel which has its center have a free hole which is placed above it, and it has a handle. So woman of the household mostly, so she puts the grains from that top of that wheel, and she moves that wheel. Grinder, it's a grinder kind of thing, and so flour comes out. So what happens? So it's a general observation you might have seen, whoever has seen that wheel. Some grains, they do not get smashed, they do not get powdered, they are not crushed. Which grains? The grains which stick to the pivot, to the center of that wheel. they are saved. So Sri Ramakrishna, seeing this thing, he is to give this example that it is the center of this universe is the Lord Himself, Bhagwan, who is holding God by one hand, who is nearer to God, is saved from being smashed to the smithereens, smashed to the powders. They are not crushed, they are saved. So way is through the center, that is the idea. So here similarly we find that idea. So the person, so ayogatah, the person who has known the secret of work, not by avoiding it, yoga karmasu kaushalam, how to do your action, showing this kaushalya, this dexterity in the midst of work. One who has learned to hold the poise of his mind in the duality's unevenness a work life may bring, which brings. Things are not constant, they are always changeful. There is a stress, there are success, failures, troubles. In face of those challenges, unevenness, the person who has learned the secret of holding his mind steady, he is yogatah. He is yoga yukta. He has learned the secret of work. And such person only when he sits for contemplation. Yoga yukto munir brahma. Then munihi, yoga yukto munihi, brahma na chirena adhigacchati. He attains to Brahman. Then that person's meditation, contemplation can become successful. You might have experienced in our own life that when there is a holiday or you are not working, you get more tired by sleeping. Have you noticed this? That you feel to eat more when you are sleeping more. You get tired by sleeping. Afternoon you are sleeping, morning hours you are sleeping, after food you are sleeping. You get tired by sleeping, get tired by excessive rest. So, and on the contrary, when you are extremely focused in your work, you are gripped by the hope, your job, your whatever that work you have taken up, and you forget your thirst, your hunger. I have seen that different kinds of people are there. In the time of exam, some people get loose motion. Means that panic or kind of that feeling, that fear, how will be the exam paper. So they get that kind of feeling. And there are other kind of people. So in the midst of this, they forget everything. Thirst, hunger, going to toilet, yes. So body is adapting because mind is extremely focused. So this person who has, by performing his duties, performing action, going through actions, has learned to steady his mind, he alone, when he sits for contemplation, can attain and progress towards the path of spiritual advancement. So such person only through this yoga of action, the path of action, who has learned to do from karma to karma yoga, who has transformed his actions into the yoga through actions. Union with what? Your inner core, the inner steadiness. The Godhood is within, the divinity is within, the peace is within, the stability is within, the changelessness that is within. You connect to it and act in this changeful, ever changeful world, which is in constant flux. So that person, this yoga yukta, what effect it have upon him? He becomes Vishuddhatma, purity is attained. He has attained the control over his mind, control over his indriyas, and he has attained this sense that one life in all beings, Sarva Bhutatma, that he is the same self which exists in all being, and thus when he acts, it does not bind him. And then two subsequent verses 8 and 9 give this example of how in very normal actions which we do not consider as work sometime, like which are required for just your existence, like breathing, like your eyelids, you are batting your eyelids, you are seeing, you are listening. Listening is the action, seeing is the action, smelling is the action, touching is the action, everything is the action. So through in all this, he attains this state of mind that indriyani indriyartheshu, that indriyas are interacting with their subjects of their senses. Sense organs are interacting with the respective subjects of those organs. Like eye is the sense organ. It is when it is seeing, the subject of those sense organs are whatever is seeable. So to those with those sense objects, the eyes are interacting, the organs of vision is interacting. So similarly, the organs of hearing is interacting when they are hearing sound, etc. And means that the identity of that person is now deeply rooted in the self, the consciousness, which does not become mixed with the identity as indriyas or mind or thoughts, etc. So indriyani indriyartheshu vartante iti dharayan. So he acts having with this idea that indriyas are interacting with indriyartheshu, with the objects of the senses, and thus this knower of the truth, he considers that he is not doing na eva kinchit, na eva, not even little, na eva kinchit karomi, I am not doing anything. Iti manyeta tattvavid. So the person who is firmly yoked to the inner self-consciousness, he attains this realization, this conviction that I am not doing anything, that indriyas are interacting with indriyartheshu, senses are interacting with sense objects. Now this person, he has surrendered all his actions. Karmani sangam brahmanya brahmani adhaya karmani. So he has surrendered all his actions, or making Brahman as the substratum. All those actions are set up there. The whole scene of this work is set up there. Brahman as the substratum. And thus he has given up all attachment, sangam tyaktva. And he is performing all these actions in this manner. Brahmani adhaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yah. The person who is doing lipyate na sapapena padma patra mivam bhasa. The person thus who is engaged in action in this way, so he will never get smeared, even touched by any effects of those actions. Papena, because all those actions, they can bear fruit, shubha or ashubha. Not only papa but also punya. Like the example is given, Padma Patra, the lotus leaf as in the water is not, though being in water, the water does not wet the leaf. The leaf does not soak water, any of it. It glides over it. Even if that leaf is dipped in the water, water cannot enter, water cannot soak, water cannot wet that leaf. So is now the state of mind of this person, Yoga Yukta. He is performing, this is being established in the Karma Yoga, the epitome of Karma Yoga. Such is the state or the way that yogi conducts himself. This is being told, this is being narrated through these verses. So, the way of his conducting actions, as Brahman as its substratum. So, this verse which came in the 4th chapter, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi Brahmagnau Brahmana Hutam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina, which we chant every day before we partake of food. So, do you see that it does not have anything to do with food itself? So, eating, consuming your food, it is one of the very basic indulgence of senses for human beings. Over the period of time, it has not been only limited to the necessity. So, as we have seen here in few verses, that how even breathing or smelling or seeing can be treated as work. So, we chant that mantra before food to remind ourselves, to remind our true identity and the true nature of this yoga, that Brahman is interacting with Brahman alone. And you are not na eva kinchit karomi iti, that you are not doing anything. You are not the being who is enjoying the fruits of it. You are not the senses, you are not the pleasure or displeasure. Experience through this interaction of Indriya and Indriyartheshu. Indriyartha. Your jivha and the rasa which you get through food. So food is very nice. Your eyes lit up and your face glows. Yeah, very nice food. But as soon as you are very hungry, it smells very nice, you put it and you find that the salt somebody has put double. As soon as you put it, your face changes. Your eyebrows become stiff. And then you are in the midst of the theme. You are stuck. Your tongue is salivating and you do not know whether to eat it or just put it out. It's very difficult. Very easier to say, Indriyani Indriyartheshu Vartante iti dharayan. It is very difficult to live. The person who has earned his ability to take his mind completely, for him alone, this will be truly the matter of realization, the matter of experience. But nonetheless, for most ordinary people like us, at least it can save us when especially we want to control our mind and it is becoming upset. And there is such psychological crisis. So at least if we have this philosophy, we will be able to tame or thaw those currents of thoughts which are gushing without end. We need some time to stop those thoughts, those currents coming out, and pay our attention and move forward. Sometimes in a situation, not only unhappy situation or sorrowful situation, it can happen also in the time of success, in the time of achievement. Your mind can be completely overwhelmed by it. So in the time of fear, you can get completely panicked, and instead of when you need to act immediately in the fraction of second, you become stunned and you do not move. So you can imagine how costly it can be for not only yourself but for many. If those hijacking of the mind, its rational ability or the acting ability of your nerves is taken away from you, if it is stunned, if it is comes to stupor. So this person, Yoga Yukta, this Muni, the yogi who has attained this perfection in the path of action, how he conducts himself. So he sees all actions as if taking place in and through Brahman, and thus attached, thus given up all attachment, sangam tyaktva, and thus like a lotus leaf in water, he is never smeared. He never brings upon him the effects of any action. This person, his kayena manasa buddhya kevalayirindriyairapi, his body is engaged, his mind is engaged, his intellect is engaged, his senses are engaged. Kayena manasa buddhya kevalai indriyairapi. So one might ask, so what is left? Sri Ramakrishna gave a very nice, he put it very nicely. So, being in the world, you can give 1/4 of your mind to the world, to the work at hand, and 3/4 you can give to the God. We know that even if we can do even at least in a reverse way, 3/4 to the world and 1/4 to the God, we will consider it as an achievement. I know that. Even if you give 3/4 to the world and 1/4 to the God, still it would be an achievement. We are 100% into the world. I remember at one place when Swami Ranganathanji passed away, and 2 books on his life, and they came. So that one ashram in Hyderabad, they had taken one pictorial one book memorial souvenir they had brought on the life of Swami Ranganathanji. So there at one place it was written, somebody had asked Swami Ranganathanji in a question answer session that when I sit for meditation, this as if this world is pursuing me. It does not leave me. Meaning that he is not able to concentrate, worldly thoughts pursue him. So my point, meaning that, so what is the solution? How to resolve that? How to answer such situation? So Swamiji replied him in a very prompt quip that it is not going to leave you, because you are pursuing the world all throughout before sitting for meditation. It is naturally that is coming for you. So both things, how we conduct ourselves apart from our meditation and how we do our meditation, they are both going to affect each other. Idea here is always, as to put it into the words of Sister Nivedita, to bridge the gap between the secular and spiritual, worldly and spiritual. There is nothing worldly and there is nothing spiritual. Everything is spiritual. It is one mind, one soul, one person, one heart. With that heart, he is doing meditation, he is also doing his worldly responsibilities. This integrity of the person, integrity in the nature of the person, the character of the person, the cohesiveness of this existence. You are spiritual everywhere, you are the same person. Not living in compartments, not living in slots of times or space or any virtual creation. That here I am the manager, I am the boss, or there I am the subordinate, or here I am with the equals, here I am with the social responsibility, here I am with the religious identity, here in my family I am superior to some, related to some, etc., etc. The idea of spiritual life itself, to have one view, one vision, one lens to see everything, bringing unity first and then dealing with the differences later. So, this person is firmly rooted in that conscious unity of his. Kayena manasa buddhya kevalai, and wonderfully it says, kevalai, only with kayena means with body, with mind, with intellect, and with senses he is doing action. Kevalai, only with. What is left? And if you talk about the consciousness, does consciousness engage in action? It does not engage in action. Only these elements, these components are there. Only these components are there in action. As far as we talk about the action, consciousness is not the component of it. Consciousness is ever witness. So, yoginah karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye. To perfect his realization, atma shuddhaye, what does it mean? For the purity of his own heart. The person, it cannot be that person is having still impurity of the mind. And to cleanse of that impurity, he is performing actions, performing this yoga in this way. This looks contradictory, because if one's mind is impure, how can he attain this yoga and how can he do this? Kevalaihi kayena manasa buddhya indriyaihi api indriyairapi indriyaihi api. So, it is not they have this gross impurity whatsoever. Atma Shuddhaye, it is like that perfecting, honing that realization, furthermore consolidating, making it more substantial. The person who is rooted, for example, we can remind ourselves, we can recall the conversation between Sri Ramakrishna and his Vedanta Guru, Totapuriji Maharaj. Totapuriji Maharaj has become monk at the age of 10 or 12. So at that time, he was taken from his family, and his guru has taught him. At that time is wandering with the monk. He had attained Nirvikalpa Samadhi by the age of 40. By the, I might be wrong, age of 30 or 40. I do not recall it exactly. However, now when he met Sri Ramakrishna, by that time he was already somewhat 70 years old. So, this person, Swami Totapuriji Maharaj, he is living almost 30 years after having Nirvikalpa Samadhi, and he is experiencing it every time, every now and then. Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Jivan Mukta Mahapurush. And he is to do daily meditation, you see. And he stayed there with Sri Ramakrishna for 11 months. Totapuriji Maharaj had never stayed at any place more than 3 nights. But with Sri Ramakrishna he stayed 11 months. And with his belonging, he had one a metal, a tumbler, a glass pot, a pot for water, water pot, of brass or copper, something. And Totapuriji Maharaj used to clean that brass pot every day and make it shine it like gold. So he used to clean that pot with so much dedication, and his heart and mind, heart poured into it, and mind focused on it. So Sri Ramakrishna, when he saw that repeatedly days together, then he asked that, why are you cleaning this already clean pot? This pot is already clean. Why you need to clean it with so much probably energy or effort? So the master, Swami Totapuriji Maharaj, means now alluding, taking this an opportunity, he is telling him the secret of spiritual life also. He says that you should not become inadvertent or lapse or relax in your effort. That, so to say, you must meditate daily. That if you clean this pot daily, then this pot will remain stainless. There will not be any stain to clean. This is how you must maintain your pot. That is the meaning, that this is how you should maintain your mind. Not that it should gather some spot and then you clean it. No, you must clean it daily before, so that it does not attract any spots, any stains upon its body. So similarly with the mind, of the spiritual aspirant. So Atma Shuddhaye. So why Totapuriji Maharaj is meditating every day? Is there any impurity in the mind? That what is the self purification here means? Consolidating the realization. You have got it once, that is not enough. Solidifying it. Atma Shuddhaye. So yoginah kurva karmanti. Otherwise, if that person is impure, how we can expect that this person will be able to work? Sangam tyaktva kayena manasa buddhya kevalayirindriyerapi. It would be self-contradictory. You will not attain this, become perfect in this yoga, if this person is already impure. We are not talking here about the gross impurities. So, this is this meaning, this is the inference. Yo kayena manasa buddhya kevalayirindriyerapi yoginah karma kurvanti. Yoginah, he is yogi, he is established. Karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye. So here Swarupananda Maharaj make a nice note that when he is saying kevalai, only with body, mind, intellect and senses, so Swamiji points out that ego is not involved. Ego is completely effaced, because identification is with the self, the consciousness. That ego is merged with the consciousness, become one with the consciousness. So that person, he does not have that ego or selfishness. He is not performing those actions for any selfishness. So this is the 11th verse. Yukta karma phalam tyaktva shantim apnoti nashtikim. Ayuktah kamakarena phale sakto nibadhyate. So, two kinds of people. Yuktah, one who is equipped with this, already has become adept in yoga. Yuktah, yoga yuktah, one who has perfected this karma yoga. Yuktah karma phalam tyaktva. What does yukta do? These fruits of actions are renounced. Tyaktva shantim apnoti naishtikim. Naishtikim from nishtha, that through the practice he has attained this peace through his nishtha, in the form of nishtha, naishtikim. That is the meaning. And so he is performing his all these actions in this way. Ayuktah and yuktah karma phalam tyaktva, giving of fruits, is performing his actions, and he has attained that peace. Shantim apnoti naishtikim. And what is happening with the person who has not attained, who has not become perfect, who has not tried to attain this adeptness, trying to earn this dexterity in action? Ayuktah. What is happening to the person? Kama karena, that's motivated by the desires. Karana is kama, desires. Ayuktah kama karena is phale sakto nibadhyate. He gets trapped, nibadhyate, he get bound by this, by the fruits, this attachment to the fruits. Phale sakto nibadhyate. Ayukta sakta is attached person. Ayukta, the person who has not taken to this path, who has not perfected this path of yoga, karma yoga, the secret of which is detachment. So this person is having attachment and motivated by desires. Ayukta kamakarena, he is bound by this. Phale nibadhyate, trapped, caged inside these desires for fruits. So this is the case of every one of us. If you are too much disturbed, perturbed by the situation, changes in your life, if you are too miserable, then ask these questions, that what are you so much attached to? What are you holding so hard and fast with your life, which you do not want to let go? It cannot be only about things. It can be about places, it can be about times, it can be about instances, happenstances in our life, incidences, feelings. It can be physical or psychological. And you are not able to move on. So it is making you miserable. Phale sakto nibadhyate. And you will not have any peace of mind. Your efforts alone do not bring fruits. They are but component. They are not only responsible. It is not this world is moving its wheels according to your desire or as per your convenience. It is not that God performs, if we can use these words, his actions as you think it fit, or wise, or right, or correct. He is free, you are bound. You do not dictate him, "Oh God, why are you doing this to me? You could have done like this. Why this so much injustice to me, or to these people or that people?" So, does not mean that I have tried so hard and necessarily I should succeed. It is not inevitable, or probably it can, but not necessarily. It is not bound by what you think fit, just, right, correct. So you become miserable. So whenever you are miserable, you are stressed, you have to just let go. Sangam tyaktva yuktaha karma phalam tyaktva shantim apnoti naishtikim. Then alone, and through this nishta alone, your shanti, the peace of mind, can become your character. The steadiness, the peace, can become the character of your mind, of your persona. Shankaracharya explains this Naishtikim Shantim as the gradual perfection in the path of knowledge. That with the purity of heart, you gain the knowledge and you can renounce action, the fruits of action, and thus this steadiness in knowledge. So, this is the crux of Karma Yoga again and again. The art of living in this world. The concept, as far as we can understand, we should try to understand as truly possible, not colored by our mind or by our desires or by our weaknesses, influenced by our weaknesses. And if not, yes, able to live that every moment, if it is a far thing, then at least use it when you are in difficulty, or like a solution, when you are in problem, when you are in hard times. So, we will take a break here at the end of the 12th verse, and then from the 13th verse we will continue in our next class. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.